not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy. And, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
What's good? It's your boy, the Black Anglo Saxon, and today, y'all see what we're gonna be talking about. Your boy Gavin Newsom is out here making his gaffes early on before he gears up to be the front runner of the 2028 election cycle. As we all know, that they are going to pull that move, so he's trying to get out and do a lot of his leg work and his footwork now. And similar to his predecessor, Mr. Joseph Biden, he's not really good in making certain points without, getting mustard and tomatoes all over his face. But, I really want to get into today the part where people are coming to his defense, because me personally, I'm not necessarily surprised at the Democratic Party, their candidates, especially the leadership in terms of the ranking. I think that a lot of them are out of touch when it comes to the higher ranked officials in the Democratic Party. So for me, I'm not surprised. I'm not offended. I'm not shocked by Gavin Newsom's antics, but I am shocked that we still have a large number and swath of people who are willing to defend the nonsense and try to be sassy sophists and make things make sense when they don't. That is the part that I am more offended about today. And I think that we have to have a discussion, because I don't think that people understand, maybe they do, maybe they don't, what's actually happening when you're having this person say this in a room full of mixed bunch. Because a lot of people's rebut to a lot of this was, well, he's not in a room full of black people, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to just share my screen and kind of give y'all an idea of the comments that people are kind of going with. But there's a lot of different things that people are kind of making excuses for, which I think is problematic, because it doesn't allow for these people to be held accountable for what it is they know to be not true. All right. So as y'all can see, the first one that we got up is going to be this young lady who's right here talking about this is false. He used this line at 4 different events to various audiences, and this was not a political event. It was a promotional event for his book. The event was not targeted for Black people. He was talking about struggling with dyslexia. The left falling for mega lies is an increasingly disturbing trend. Now, what I want to touch on first in terms of this comment is that, hold on, let me go ahead and go back, because what y'all don't understand in these conversations is, look, even though it's not a political event, as an elected official, it's always a political event, if you ask me. Everything that they do when they're in office, they are making sure that they are touching base so that they can be reelected eventually. And when you talk about it was a promotional event for his book, yes, because in that arena, writing a book and doing all of the things are a part of your capital, are part of the resources that you're using to be reelected. This is what you're selling, along with the policy, along with the experience, along with all of the relationships and connections that you have. It's always a political event. If you are watching this, it's always a political event. if you have a politician doing something that is quote unquote not technically politics, make it politics because they're doing it out of calculated reason. And this right here was just the most disingenuous comment I could find because it speaks to the sassy sophists who want to use such language and such nonsensical takes to try to cover for these people when it doesn't make any sense. Just let the man account for what he needs to account for. Now, the event was not targeted for Black people. Tons of people, including Mark Lamont Hill, have been online saying that, oh, well, the crowd wasn't Black. He was only speaking to a Black host. Or, it wasn't predominantly a Black crowd. And the comments that he's made those comments several times. Now, here is the problem. He is trying to relate in. This is, if we have not been paying attention, a political tactic, a very political tactic that politicos use to be able to sell whatever it is they're selling. Because he can't sell the book, or he can't sell himself. He can't sell himself for office. He can't sell his policies if he does not seem like a relatable person. If he does not make those signifiers that he in some way shares experiences with other people. Now, he may have dyslexia. He may have had a 960 SAT score. All of these things may be true, but understand he is weaponizing those things to gain access to said demographic and group of people to sell, monetize, and weaponize, and eventually become and get reelected or catapult him into his 2028 campaign as front runner for the Democratic Party. Let's not be intentionally obtuse, people. I hate that we do this, and I hate that we are here, and I hate it even more for those who do not seem to understand what is happening and parade themselves out here like political scientists and social scientists. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Because I just don't even understand how it can be missed as how even something that is true can be used and weaponized. And this is why I say that we don't understand power, why I don't think that we're ready, because you have people up here who put on a cape for this, and then you also have the other group of people who truly believe this and don't actually understand what is going on. Because Cornel West says Brother Newsom could have taken a humanistic approach. He could have said, I'm just like you. I was born of a woman. I'll face loss, pain, and death just like anyone else. But instead, when he thinks of Black people, he brings up low SAT scores. The mindset sits at the core of blah, 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 blah. Show more. But that's where we are. And that's where we are. And then you get this response from Rebecca, who's trying to cover. Again, Mark Lamont Hill, I know people, even on my own personal Facebook, you had a young gentleman by the name of Michael Campbell who was saying that, well, he's not a racist. Donald Trump is the racist. Both of them can be racist. And these are the same people who will go out and propagate people like MLK and Malcolm X when they clearly have contextualized and created the framework to let you know and understand that this type of rhetoric is also a form of racist undertone. So you feeling like because what Donald Trump does is overt, this in itself and trying to relate in, and even if you take it away from Black people, it's equally offensive, even if you want to use the class card. So people of a lower class, because we're not going to sit here and act like Gavin Newsom is in the same class as us. So if you want to sit here and act like it's okay to just say that, okay, we're going to generalize and make it seem like everybody in a particular class group has this level of SAT scores and also can't necessarily read, and not necessarily being able to read his speeches, I'm going to go into this next picture because this is what I mean by manipulation and weaponization. Because let me bring it back up on the screen. Because this is what I mean, people. This is what I mean. Y'all see this, right? Gavin Newsom sitting up here with beloved To Kill a Mockingbird. You got of course, Toni Morrison. and this is in 2022, reading some banned books to figure out what the states are so afraid of, right? Now, this is him also trying to relate in, gain access, because you have here 1984 as well. You have him doing the same thing, but in reverse. And the problem is that both of these tactics, antics that he's performing in these two clips are opposed to each other. Because to read Toni Morrison, To Kill a Mockingbird, 1984, I can't see the other two, you have to have a particular frame of reference. And not only do you have a particular frame of reference, you are a fluid reader. And if you really want to go and dig into it, because I've been there before, people who get their speeches written for them, they get them catered to them, right? So when I was writing speeches or when I'm even writing debriefs, the mayor or any principal that I'm writing for is sending back edits to make sure that the writing comes out the way that they can read it. So some things may be spelled phonetically. Some things may have the M dash so that they can know when to pause. Things are written in the way of the principle. So it is disingenuous. It is a falsehood. It is a lie because I have been there. I have seen the wizard. So you're not going to you can say this nonsense to other people. You're not going to sit here and tell me that you don't know how to read speeches. You know how to read speeches because the people that you pay good money for, because you are an elected official, you are in leadership, you are a head figure, you have power. So your team, you're not going to tell me that you're getting a speech, a memo, or something like that the day of, and you can't read it because people writing styles are different. I will give you that, but you are getting that, and you are making sure that your team has your writing preferences and styles already downloaded into their brain. It's like having institutional knowledge. When you work for a certain person for so long, you know how they like stuff spelled, you know how they like it formatted, you know the whole rundown. But guess what? He get to tell y'all that because a lot of y'all don't know. A lot of y'all haven't been up close enough on it. And for the ones that you all who do know and allowing that to rock, shame on you. And I don't care if he said it 4, 5, 6 times. First 5 don't make it right. The first 5 don't make it not a weaponization. It just normalizes it so you don't feel like it is propaganda. But it's sad because men like Mark Lamont Hill should know better. It's very disappointing because you should know better. Come on, because for those same people, these are the same people who say, well, I didn't know that Biden was going to do what he was going to do or what he wasn't going to do. Well, you should have probably understood that he was solely picked because of his national policy as well as his foreign policy positions and stances. That was one of the chief reasons. And that was said out loud in the open. You should probably know that he got picked because he was as weak as he was and as malleable as he was and as he had the ability to reach across the aisle to the Dixiecrats. And I say that because those are the ones who sit on and across the aisle that kind of create that blurred line for us. But it's a sad shame. It really is that we got people sitting up here acting like they don't know what's happening and don't know what's going on. But what do I know? I may be wrong. Let me know if you disagree. If you think that it should be something that should be forgiven, please put it in the comments. I'm more than willing to hear. I am open. But me personally, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't want no apology. I don't want any of it. But here we go.